Don't grieve, anything you lose comes round in another form. Jalal Muhammad Rumi. Sufism, the mystical and aesthetic interpretation of the Quran, had been part of Islam since its foundation in the 7th century, but had not always been accepted by mainstream Islamic scholars. Jalal Muhammad Rumi, better known simply as Rumi, was brought up in Orthodox Islam, and first came into contact with Sufism when his family moved from the eastern edges of Persia to Anatolia in the mid-13th century. The Sufi concept of uniting with God through love caught his imagination, and from this he developed a version of Sufism that sought to explain the relationship of man with the divine. Rumi became a teacher in a Sufi order, and as such he believed he was a medium between God and man. In contrast to general Islamic practice, he placed much emphasis on dhikr, ritual prayer or litany, rather than rational analysis of the Quran for divine guidance, and became known for his ecstatic revelations. He believed it was his task to communicate the visions he experienced, and so he wrote them down in the form of poetry. Central to his visionary philosophy is the idea that the universe and everything in it is an endless flow of life, in which God is an eternal presence. Man, as part of the universe, is also a part of this continuum, and Rumi seeks to explain our place within it. Man, he believes, is a link between the past and future in a continual process of life, death, and rebirth, not as a cycle, but in a progression from one form to another stretching into eternity. Death and decay are inevitable and part of this endless flow of life, but as something ceases to exist in one form, it is reborn in another. Because of this, we should have no fear of death, and nor should we grieve a loss. In order to ensure our growth from one form to another, however, we should strive for spiritual growth and an understanding of the divine-human relationship. Rumi believes that this understanding comes from emotion rather than from reason, emotion enhanced by music, song, and dance. Rumi's legacy. The mystical elements of Rumi's ideas were inspirational within Sufism, and influenced mainstream Islam too. They were also pivotal in converting much of Turkey from Orthodox Christianity to Islam. But this aspect of his thinking did not hold much sway in Europe, where rationalism was the order of the day. In the 20th century, however, his ideas became very popular in the West, mainly because his message of love chimed with the New Age values of the 1960s. Perhaps his greatest admirer in the 20th century was the poet and politician Muhammad Iqbal, advisor to Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who campaigned for an Islamic state of Pakistan in the 1930s. Jalal Muhammad Rumi. Jalal Muhammad Rumi, also known as Mawlana, our guide, or simply Rumi, was born in Balkh, in a province of Persia. When the Mongol invasions threatened the region, his family settled in Anatolia, Turkey, where Rumi met the Persian poets Attar and Shams al-Din Tabrizi. He decided to devote himself to Sufism, and went on to write thousands of verses of Persian and Arabic poetry. In 1244 Rumi became the sheikh, master, of a Sufi order, and taught his mystical emotional interpretation of the Quran and the importance of music and dance in religious ceremony. After his death, his followers founded the Mawlana order of Sufism, which is famous for its swirling dervishes who perform a distinctive dance in the semi-ceremony, a form of dhikr unique to the sect. Key works. Rhyming couplets of profound spiritual meaning, the works of Shams of Tabriz. What is within, 7 sessions.